Well, good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is having an amazing morning. I hope you had a great Tuesday. I had to miss yesterday because I just was not feeling well. I was in a lot of pain yesterday. But thank you for those that sent me messages, that checked in on me. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you. But I'm glad everyone got the message that I posted on YouTube and even on Facebook. So kudos to you. And I hope you had an amazing day yesterday. So today we're going to continue this conversation for my singles. Unlearning the old stories about love. I've been in the love phase, allowing myself to receive, putting myself out there again to connect and meet people, right? Whether it's a long lasting connection, but sometimes we just want to connect with people. Um, and I was very intentional about that starting in May, early May. So Monday, I started to share, just like how I use ChatGPT to, if I have like a prompt to talk me through the prompt, or if you use ChatGPT enough, like I do, it can tell you a lot about yourself. So you can give it a prompt, and if you watch Monday's show, you would see how we started that, and then how it builds up and gave you more prompts and redirected that conversation somewhere else. So I think Monday's conversation was like really good. So today's conversation, which would have been yesterday's conversation, we're talking about the unblocking, the unlearning, right? Unlearn these narratives. Yeah, I know I'm big on that because a lot of us have been carrying around all of these different narratives about things, and we make it into our reality, and we think that this is our tell or be all, and this is just what is. This is what the gospel is, as we like to say in certain communities, but it's not the gospel, right? Every relationship is not the same, and every relationship that you have seen does not define what relationships are. That's just what you've seen from the examples that you've seen in your immediate family, maybe even within your community. So today I do want to talk about that because even if you look down in the description, I wrote certain things like, I want you to start thinking about like how your childhood and even past relationships have planted any sense of fear when it comes to relationships. Um, why noticing your own patterns is the first breakthrough. How to start rewriting your love story from the inside out. That's one's very important. So I just want us to really just start. So as always, if you are brand new here, I do encourage you to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and be a part of this community, be a part of this family because we do some amazing things over here. We have great conversations, especially about healing, about purpose, all of those different. And if that's something that's up your sleeve, then I do welcome you to be one of our friends and join us every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. ish. That's my new line, 7 a.m. ish. I'm gonna be here about 7 or by 7:10. Um, but you are definitely welcome to be a part of that. So hit that subscribe button or hit that like button if you are following on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook deletes these after every 30 days. So please go and follow us on YouTube so you can always catch any replays that you have missed in the past. I've been doing morning inspiration with friends now for about, we're in August. I think I started morning inspiration officially in April. So we've been kind of rocking and rolling. So there's quite a few information and insight there that you can definitely tap into if this is the kind of stuff that you need to get you through your day, get your day started. So what are we talking about? So how do we unlearn these things? So the first thing that I had to ask myself, because what do you do when it comes to relationships? So one of the things is like, why do I shut down when things feel too good? If you relate to that, I want you to drop a one in the comments. If you are one of those people, and I'm talking about primarily relationships, right? Because the one thing I want so many people to understand is that yes, there are some people that will run in one circumstance in their life, but they won't do it. They will dominate in the other aspects of their lives. So I have known, and I have been one of those people, like super goal oriented, chasing after their dreams. They're not stepping down. They're not backing down to any boss that's trying to bully them. But when they get into a relationship, it's like something just doesn't click properly. Something just doesn't resonate for them to be like, no, like I don't have to run. Like this is the place that I need to be. I need to fight for this. I need to plant my feet because I know this is where I belong. We don't do that in every aspect. So that's something that I think is very good for people to have that self-reflective moment, because we want to make sure that you understand what you're doing, right? Don't just look at one aspect of your life or how you do things. Don't even look at one aspect of your life from the lens of certain people. So I think I have said this like last week. When I talk about affection, affection to me is not a very natural thing, not with and within relationships. But if you speak to my sister will tell you, oh my gosh, she's so affectionate. She was so, my sister speaking from the experiences that she had with me. And again, that's only one relationship, right? Whereas if she was to speak to other people, they'll be like, my ex, my all my exes will probably be like, nah, she's not affectionate. Like she's not. So I always say, like, one person might see you, one aspect of your life might see you one way. So this is why you have to be really honest with yourself, and you have to do a lot of a lot of reflection, so that you can figure out where you are not, where you're not where you want to be. So I want you to explore like past betrayals. I want you anything that has been super inconsistent, that never felt good to you. Um, Emotional neglect, and I always think about myself. My father wasn't around. So that was initially I walked into my first relationship with the opposite sex, and it was not supportive. They were not there, they were not present, they were not consistent. So I really started off very early, just not trusting, and so that was something that I had to start doing. And I didn't really start doing that work. I mean, we tried to get started with that work even when I was in high school. I know I went to therapy briefly in high school, and I do remember my therapist attempting to have those kind of conversations. But I don't think I really got ready to forgive my father in that capacity until about 2016. And so, yeah, 2016. And that was like the workings of it started with like 2015. That's when God like really started to speak to me about this. And so I had to find a way, one to identify, why do you do these things? What is this attached to? What does this all mean? So that I can understand, right? And so, because I want us to understand that, awareness is the one thing that a lot of people never get to. And a lot of people never get to awareness. A lot of people only get to awareness, but there's still a lot of people operating so blindly that they don't even see. They don't see that, anything that they need to be aware of. So I had to really just get that like out on paper. I'm a runner, right? Sometimes when it feels uncomfortable, it feels too good to be true. It's like, let me get my sneakers, let me start running. And it's like, no, if this is something that you truly want, you don't want to run away from it. You don't want to shut down, right? Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, you have never seen this before. But doesn't mean that it's not possible. And because by 2016, that was like two, 3 years shy of the first healthy relationship that I have actually seen in person. And that was when I was able to start changing my mindset about it, because it was like I saw like let's say I saw 10 unhealthy relationships. And then I finally saw that one, and that one gave me hope. That one really gave me the hope that no, this is actually possible. Like you can meet someone that you like, they like you enjoy one another, you guys just laugh, you have a good time, you can build new memories, they're supportive, it's the teamwork. No one is shutting down, no one is pulling away, no one's pushing away, no one is putting on their sneakers. Like that was the first time. So for that I had to hold on to that, and I had to fight to hold on to that, to believe that this is something that is possible. And once I started to do that, God started to put me into spaces and places that I started to see healthier relationships that was helping me also to unlearn these narratives. And then as I started to go through, just being surrounded around the new type of people that I wanted to be similar to, because I don't want to be like them, but I want to take some of those traits. I want to feel a little bit of what they're feeling, especially if it's the good things. And so did that. doing that, um, and then now you're doing the reflective, right? You're like reflecting. You're like, okay, this is what I need. This is what's happening. And now you're going into the next phase where it's like, I have to learn how to trust my body again, right? Our body speaks to us. And I think that's the one place that a lot of people ignore. In most situations, most people ignore that gut feeling, and I think so many times people never taught us that the butterfly feeling and the gut feeling are not the same feelings all the time. And that butterfly feelings is sometimes your gut trying to tell you to run. And I often say that's when the Holy Spirit is kicking you in your behind to like get out of here. Um, and I always think about the one of my ex-boyfriends, the day he asked me to be his girlfriend. I had that feeling in my stomach, and I mean, it made me feel like I was about to poop on myself. And I think about that often because that was the Holy Spirit telling me to run. And trust me, I wish I would have. Right? So sometimes your body is going to, is going to give you these kind of warnings. So you do have to get into a space of learning how to trust that. What does that feel like? And I think the more that you get closer to God, God is going to help you to understand. There's been times that I know when the presence of the Lord is within me, because sometimes I'll just get like this, just like chill over my left leg. I don't know why, but that's something that I've experienced and I noticed. And so I keep track of those types of things, right? And you want to keep track of situations that has happened that's going to help you, you know, to regulate your nervous system and to kind of get into alignment with it, so that this feels safe, this feels good, this is alarming, this is a question, right? And now you can walk and you have a lot more peace when you're going through that, right? And then I think sometimes, and even what I'm learning right now in this season, is that your nervous system, sometimes we will shake up our own nervous systems because we're comparing old with the new, and the new might be in a very unique season that we are not paying attention to because we're so prone to, but this looks like the past. This looks like the past. Um, but is it the past? And I think you are able to answer that question because you know the situation that you're currently in compared to the situation that you was in previously. And I think that is something that a lot of us need to unlearn, is that every situation, just because it seems similar, is not the same. It's not. Like, and I know it, you're probably like, well, Tanisha, nope, it's not. Even the way God is going to bless you, the way that he blessed you the last time, this is not going to be the way he's going to bless you the next time. It's not going to be the same exact way. He can do it in all so many different ways. But we got to get to that understanding and realize, yeah, it doesn't have to be this particular way, right? So I want you to start learning how to trust your body, and if you don't know, start talking to God. God, how can you speak to me so that I can learn how to trust my body, right? And everything is all connected. And then, like I said earlier, healing is definitely awareness, right? You need to have that awareness first in order for you to know that something is broken. It needs to be fixed. And I put that in quotes because we're not broken. You're not broken, right? You just got to rewire this mind. This is why I say Romans 12:2, we got to renew our minds, because so many people are still just focused on the way that they have been taught and the things that they kept seeing, right? You saw what you saw. It's real. We're not going to deny that. We're not going to put that out there like, oh, it didn't happen. It did happen. And what you saw was real. And those connections were real connections. And were they healthy? You have to be able to answer that question from what you perceive. But most times we didn't see the healthiest. Like, we're gonna call a spade, right? So once we have this level of awareness, which is great, now it starts to have some form of adjustment. Now we're gonna have to start to adjust. Now this is where you have to be very intentional, right? This is where you're gonna start looking at, okay, I know when I'm about to self-sabotage. What do I do? Right. So when you know that you're about to do something, now you got to start figuring out, when I feel this way, this is what I need to do, right? When I feel this way, this is what I need to do. When this happens, because sometimes things are just going to happen. So if someone ghosts you, if someone, if they ghost you, if they reject you, right? You have to figure out, how do I adjust to this, right? Because we don't want to respond the way that we used to. So most people who get rejected, they spaz out, they go crazy, and that's not beneficial to anyone. So it's time for you to adjust, right? It's time for you to self-reflect. What does this ghosting mean? How is this helpful for me? What is this going to benefit for me in the end? Like, we have so many different questions that we can ask ourselves, right? That we can bring it back to us. We don't have to worry about them. We can't control what anyone else is doing. We can only control how we respond to things, right? And so when we start to do that, we start to take back our ownership and our power, because you're not giving the power to the person who is doing these things to you. Even when it comes down to the good things, right? You still have really no control over that. Yes, you can do things, and I hear coaches, oh, you can push them, you can prompt them. At the end of the day, you can do all of that. If a person just does not want to do that, they're just not going to do that. And it doesn't mean that you are not worthy of it. It just doesn't mean, it means that they're just not that focused on doing those types of things. Now we just make decisions and we move forward from there. Is this something that you want to deal with, or is it something that you don't want to deal with? Right. So we have a lot that we really do have control over and that we are really, really aware of. But I really want you to name the thing that you do, right? So whether it's you're trying to control the narrative, the whole situation, you're trying to self-sabotage everything, or you just want to up and run away and want to ghost people. And I want you to start to choose differently. And here is where you can go to Chat GPT and say, you know, um, when it comes to relationships, I know that I have a habit of self-sabotaging. What are some techniques that I can utilize to help me to no longer want to run? Put that in a prompt into Chat GPT and let Chat GPT tell you what you could do. And then you can move forward from there. So as always, I always have a prompt for y'all because, and the prompt that I just gave you was not the prompt, but that's something that just hit, that just dropped in my spirit, right? So what story or belief about love am I still carrying that no longer serves the version of me that I am becoming? This is a very important question. So again, this goes hand in hand with the previous one that I just told you, right? So you can either start here, but again, if you are already aware, for the women to the men, they're already aware of what you do. You know what you do. We all know what we do. Like I said earlier, I am a runner. I run away. So when you know this and you're honest with yourself, now you can sit and say, hey, Chat GPT, I know that I do this. Can you help me so I don't do this anymore? Right? Or you can start with this prompt and then you can go from there. There's so many different ways. It's not a one size fit all. But I want us to get to a point of awareness, because when you are aware, that means that healing is starting. But when you really start to adjust and you start to add new ways of doing things, that means that healing is helping you to become the person that you desire. Love it. Okay. So as always, I do encourage you all to connect with me. Because I wasn't feeling well, I did not get to do the Dear Single in Love um, autograph copies link. So I'll have that. I will probably go live tomorrow since I missed yesterday. I hate when I miss days, but I just really hated the way I felt yesterday. But if you want to go down my description, you can click down there and you can scroll to my link tree and you will see the link for the Amazon version. So if you just want to get it from Amazon and you want to start reading the book on your Kindle, you can go to do that, or you can wait until tomorrow. And then I will have I'm only doing 20 copies, 20 copies of autograph books. Good morning, Paula. So yeah, so 20 copies for the autograph book, but I will have that up tomorrow. Thank you, Paula, for checking on me yesterday. I saw your comment on the community post. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, so just want to let you guys know, like I said, tomorrow I will probably be live since I missed yesterday. And then we'll just continue with this conversation. But if you do know a single who's going through and they're trying to figure out and they're trying to start this healing process and they're like, I don't know how to get started, or I know what my problem is, but I don't know what to do, definitely share this message with them and give them some insight and a nudge that it's time for them to start to unlearn those old stories and narratives so that they can stop blocking out the love that they desire, right? Especially if they desire love. If they don't desire love, you could plant the seed, but you ain't got to water it. right? Just give them the link. Listen to this. If they listen, cool. If they don't push. Right. And I understand there's so many different people are just in different spaces and levels right now. So we're not trying to push, but we're trying to get people to a point where they start to unlearn any narrative that's not benefiting them in any capacity. So y'all know I'm like 100% off of that. I need everyone to just to unlearn all of those horrible narratives, right? Paula, I'm telling the truth. We can't look, plant the seed, keep it pushing, right? But I love you guys. Have an amazing Wednesday. Have an amazing day. I'll be back here tomorrow. And if you have not, you can go back and you start from the beginning because I went through a lot and it's now 20 minutes. So have a good one, Paula. Have a great day. Be well, be blessed, and I'll see you all here tomorrow.